KAICIID is very glad to be here supporting and participating in this annual forum. I believe it's the first time that PARD and IF20 are collaborating together. It's an important gathering in terms of bringing policymakers and religious leaders closer together to influence policy that takes into account the viewpoints of the various faith communities, the considerations of religious voices in order to create more sustainable and inclusive policy. This idea is something that resonates very well with KAICIID. It's basically baked into its governance structure. At KAICIID, we have on the one hand a board of directors formed by the major world faith traditions, as well as a council of parties that is intergovernmental. So we bring those two main actors together in order to collaborate and face the challenges that we have today as a global community. The recognition and understanding of the other is fundamental. We want to have an actual dialogue, a constructive dialogue. At KAICIID, we believe in dialogue being inclusive, necessarily inclusive. This is reflected through a lot of our programming, in particular our Fellows program, where we bring people from different institutions all over the world. So far, we've trained up to 500 fellows from up to 90 different countries. In fact, we are here also in Brasilia celebrating the 10th year anniversary of the program, and also expanding our programmatic scope within the region of Latin America and the Caribbean. So we're very, very happy to be here, and also within the context of this forum. So when it comes to the program itself, we bring individuals from around the world, from different institutions, whether academic, religious, governmental, and train them in interreligious, intercultural dialogue in order to then take those skills and knowledge back to their communities. We also support them with some funding so they can implement projects that aim to address the challenges that they face within their respective faith communities. And this, in a sense, has a multiplying effect because they're able to transmit that knowledge and take it and have it be absorbed within their respective institutions. The conversations have been very interesting, particularly in the different thematic areas. At KAICIID, we're working also quite a bit on protection of the environment. In fact, within the area specifically of food security. I can give you the example of a project we're implementing in Rwanda with the World Resources Institute as a partner, who's also participating within this forum, which consists of building the capacity of religious leaders to prevent food loss and food waste, and overall increase food security. The interesting thing is that this is work that faith-based communities are already, in fact, implementing, but the work is not recognized as such. And so supporting and building their capacity and bringing then again the government involved with the religious communities in order to develop the policy aspect and make the work more effective is what's, I think, really galvanizes and pushes forward the impact. One of the speakers mentioned precisely the point you raised about how resource-based conflict is sort of one of the main factors pushing conflict at the global level, and that I believe something like 80% of these conflicts are taking place on indigenous lands. And so these issues are all interlinked. Say resource-based conflict exacerbates violence in a specific area that causes displacement of people that then might move to the sort of the urban centers, and therefore then the necessity to design inclusive cities becomes an issue. So these different aspects, particularly in a globalized world like today, are very much interlinked, even not just at the national and regional level, but also at the global level. We can see that with the Russian war in Ukraine and how that spiked up the price of grain and the effect that had in terms of lack of food security within some African countries that relied heavily on the export and the import of that grain from Ukraine. So we can clearly see from the way the world is globalized today that an action in one part of the world has a reaction in another. This work is done in bringing the religious leaders close together with policymakers. Give you an example, in Nigeria, we have a network we've built with religious leaders through our Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace. which is a Nigeria-based interfaith platform that we developed circa 2016 with policymakers, and they together map policies across the entire state of Nigeria and identify where those gaps are, where policy might be discriminatory towards one faith community or the other, and then together design and build a new policy that takes into consideration the needs and wants of the respective faith communities, therefore increasing their sustainability and addressing what are the structural root causes of that inherent discrimination that might not have been noticed otherwise. I think it's a universalist theme, and it speaks particularly to the idea of inclusion and the need to have everybody at the dialogue table so they can express their concerns and their needs. I can think of our case working within the CAR context, the Central African Republic. It's a state that suffered severe conflict since the crisis erupted in 2013. We've been working in the country since 2015, more or less, and on occasions where the violence spikes to the point where the entire humanitarian community has to be evacuated. There's nobody, including local governance actors, Doctors Without Borders, anybody who's there doing any kind of work to pacify the area is forced to leave. It's the pastor and the imam and the priest that are left behind, ensuring that that their communities are not left behind. So in that sense, they're really the true heroes behind that espouse that leave no one behind philosophy, because they really stay whenever all the other actors have left. It's them that are trying to make some kind of sense out of the chaos and ensure that their communities are protected. Simply to advocate further for this need to recognize religious voices within the public sphere and that process of policy making, with the understanding that this will provide more sustainable and inclusive societies moving forward.